Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So as an autistic ADHDer, I really do struggle with communication. I struggle kind of picking up on social cues. I really struggle kind of verbalizing how I'm actually feeling. I struggle just communicating with people. Like I say what they want to hear, basically. Like I turn into a whole different version of Molly with everybody, basically. You'll never get the same Molly because I turn into who that person wants me to be, and my communication style adapts to all different kind of environments. So I just want to share some of those with you. There's about 7, and I just want you guys to see if you can relate to any of these. So number 1 is hyper talkative mode. Now, a lot of us ADHDers can be hyperactive, but it doesn't always mean physically hyperactive. I am definitely a hyperverbal person, so my hyperactivity comes out in me verbally. So I'm yap, 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 yap. And people are just like, I can't get a word in edgeways. Shh, stop talking so fast. Shh, shh. Like, you haven't stopped talking, Molly. So yeah, that's one of my kind of communication styles. I think it's more of a mode. It's like a mode that I like, you know, my brain's like, oh, today we're switching on the hyperactivity talking mode for you, Molly. And usually it's in the wrong environments. It's like they never match up to the correct environment. Like if I'm in a library, I shouldn't be hyper talkative, but I probably am. I should probably be very, very quiet, but I'm not. So yeah, they never match up to this kind of surroundings that I'm in. But yeah, that's number 1, hyper talkative mode. Number 2 is I go off on tangents. So like the storyteller tangent mode, I shall call this, speaking in riddles basically. So I'll start talking to you about, I don't know, anything, and then I'll just go off on a tangent, and by the end of it, I'm talking about, I don't know, Costa Rica, when we started talking about what colour shoes I like. Like, you know, there'll be a direct link to every single step of the way, basically, but I'll go off on a tangent and it'll all end up in basically a riddle, and in my head it makes sense, but to other people they're like, what, oh my god, what have I just listened to? Like, people don't have a clue, and they're like, you expect me to keep up with this? And I'm like, yeah, because it all makes sense, it's all logical in my head, but really it's not. It's just random, and we all end up in a riddle, and then I basically go back to the beginning and I'm like, let's start again. And people are just like, oh, I don't know, yeah, great, sure, yeah, and they just switch off because they're like, I don't have a clue where we are now. Yeah, storyteller, tangent mode, where I just go off and speak in riddles, basically. That's number 2. Number 3 is hyperfocus mode. Now, I'm not gonna shy away from saying this can be very intense and very overwhelming for the people involved in the conversation, because I will be like a horse with those blinkers on, right, where I can only see what I'm focusing on and everything else around me is not important. I'm only interested in what I'm focusing on, and it can be really hard for me to, like, you know, switch that and stop talking about things. It's just like, it's not appropriate to talk about this right now, but in my head it's like, well, I'm focusing on this and I'm going to talk about it until I'm done focusing, and it can be really, really, really intense. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's like tunnel vision. I've done it before, and like I think I've spoken about it before, but like, I could become really hyper fixated on things. But yeah, I could be very, very like tunnel vision when it comes to my focus, hyper focus, basically obsessed with something. Like, it's very obsessive mode. Like, I talk about that one thing and that's it until I'm over it. So yeah, that's it. That's number 3. So number 4 is the autopilot mode. So I'll just go on absolute autopilot. I'll zone out and I'll just be looking at you like, you know, just on autopilot, and whatever you're saying I can't actually hear because in my head there's just noise. I'm just talking to myself basically in my head, and I'm just thinking about everything, and what you're saying, like, I can hear you talk, but I can't actually hear what you say. Does that make sense? I could just hear like, like, that's all I can hear, because it's like, I'm not being rude, but it's just sometimes everything is so overwhelming. Like, it's better to just trap myself in my head, and I just go on autopilot. So like, my face will just be like, and in my head I'm like, not too much, not too much eye contact, not too much eye, now you're looking a bit silly, don't do that, too much eye contact there, moles, look away, now look back. Like, yeah, I just coach myself through basically, and I'll just go on autopilot, and then you'll say, oh yeah, so do you agree? And I'm like, next question please. So number 5 is the info dumper. Now I am quite casual to an information dump, and I will just dump loads of information on you, and you're probably like, I didn't even ask for that, I didn't even want to know that, and that's just too much information. I should probably walk around with like a marker on my head just saying like, yeah, TMI, too much information. I should just do it. Like, I just overshare, and info dump. But people are just like, I just wanted to know, you know, what drink you want from the shop. Like, I don't want to know what your favourite one is. I don't want to know, like, where your favourite drink originates from. I do not want to know why you don't like other drinks, or like why your favourite drink is superior to the other drinks. I just don't communicate well, basically. Yeah. So number 6 is scripted conversationalist. Now, this is something that I've done forever, and again, I think it's because I grew up undiagnosed, so I like to just force myself to fit in. Like, I do not want to stand out. I do not want people to think I'm weird or strange. Like, I just want to fit in and be as camouflaged as possible, and just, I don't want to stand out. Like, I am totally fine with being pushed to the back. Like, I don't want to stand out. I just want to fit in for a change. So I feel like this one is because I just want to mold myself to everybody else, and I have to know what I'm saying because I don't want to show myself up. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to overshare, and I don't want to be too much. You know, I've been told I'm too much all my life, so I try to dim myself down as much as possible so that I'm not too much. So I try to like script everything so I know that I have something engaging to like add to a conversation. So if I know I'm going out with someone who likes trains, bam, I'm your girl. I know everything about trains because I want to make sure this person knows that, you know, I like them or something, you know. Yeah, I actively want to be involved, so I will try my hardest, and I script things. I come up with like all different scenarios and be like, what do I say if blah 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 happens? And I come up with all these scenarios, but you know what, I can't even remember half the stuff I say in my head because ADHD, I just forget everything. So it doesn't really work, but I script most things, and when it comes to things I forget what I've even like thought about saying, you know. Yeah. Number 7 is I just go completely non-verbal. So it's like I'm a non-verbal communicator. I will use other means to communicate with people because I just don't have the energy. I do not have the, I'm just totally burnt out. I feel numb. Like, even talking just drains me sometimes. So yeah, sometimes I just go completely non-verbal and I just don't talk to people because I'm just like, it's too much, too overwhelming, and I just need to just keep myself in my head. Like, I just cannot talk to anybody. Like, I just don't have the energy to talk to people, basically. Yeah, and I will just use like other means of like communication. Like I'll speak to my mum over text rather than actually speak. You know, I have other ways of communicating with people, and it's just something that works for me sometimes when I'm so overwhelmed. It's the only thing that I can resort to, but it works for me. So let me know down below if you can relate to any of the 7 that I've spoken about. I think they're pretty relatable. I think a lot of us ADHDers will just be like, yeah, and like a lot of us neurodivergents will just be like, yeah, that's me. Like, you'll probably find yourself nodding along to this video because I think it's quite common, or it's just that it's just a me problem. It could be just, I just have a lot of problems, basically. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is just another problem to add to my list. Yeah, but just let me know down below if you can relate, and also I want some suggestions on what you want from my channel. I have so many great ideas. I want to make a documentary, like a solo one, of like my life before diagnosis, and I want to post it. Like, I want to create it, but I need help. I want to know if you guys are interested, and remember to like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you next Monday for another video. So bye.